Okay, good afternoon. My name is Powell. I'm a development consultant in Union Development, NUS, and this webinar is about setting out your strategic plan. So the things that this webinar will cover, we'll look a bit about the context of charities, the direct terms of strategy, vision, mission and values, good practice from charities and students' unions, and then we'll also think about some alternatives. I'd like to start off with a quote from John Homer Shah, an American political theorist, who said, "The future's not a place we're going to, but one we're creating. The past are not to be found, but made." I really like this quote. I think it identifies everything that strategy should be. It's about your own direction and shaping your own future. And that's something that in students' unions, we've kind of got an opportunity to do. This into some context. So we've got in charities across the UK, we're over 180,000 of them. The majority of charities have less than £100,000 income, and the sector makes up a 2.7% workforce in the UK. In England and Wales, students' unions had been exempt charities until 2009, and unions with over £100,000 of income need to register. The developed students' unions around the UK have over £100,000 of income, not £1 million charities. And the governance and the strategy that we have that works together is really rather important. However, in saying all this, students are varied and busy organisations with a variety of different functions and stakeholders. It's difficult in this environment for student leaders, trustees and senior staff to think about big picture projects without a dedicated space for this to happen. Now, having a strategy can help this, and it's also an element of quality students' unions. About strategy, and strategy in general, we can actually just start with, let's do the basics of the NCVO, so National Council of Voluntary Organisations. So it's a high-level decisions about why your organisation exists, what it has to do in the next years, and how to achieve it, and how it will deal with the world around it. So, on that, the strategic plan is a clear and coherent statement from senior managers about organisation strategy over a particular period, usually 3 to 5 years. The elements that should make up your strategic development. Should be asked what they want from the union or what they want their union to do through detailed research to inform their plans. So it cannot be developed in isolation, and its development should involve a wide range of stakeholders and extensive consultation. And so the college or university direction will influence plans. It is beneficial to ensure synergy between the two. Environment. Together with policies, sabbatical manifestos in the education sector and the landscape in general can then be developed. Each element needs to be done in a really thought out and planned process. So data, you need to be thinking about who's going to be delivering membership research. Are you thinking about in a company you have capacity through your parent? It's really good every few years to go through a stakeholder exercise to find out who your stakeholders are, what they currently think of you, and whether or not you are going to be aiming to try and change any of those perceptions in the future. With this, I'll be thinking about future students, how future students are going to impact what students' union or associations can be like in the next 5 years or so. And colleges and universities around the UK have significant growth plans at the moment. And actually, if you're not thinking about their growth plan, then how are you actually going to be creating something that's going to be sustainable over the next 3 to 5 years? This goes well in hand with the environment. What's happening politically, whether that's locally or nationally, what are external factors that may well impact your strategic development? Looking at the overall direction, we're looking at every 3 to 5 years. We consult stakeholders as a major exercise. It will be well to be driven when it comes to your strategic plans. Mission and values three components that form the purpose of an organisation. And if we to demonstrate that you have these or versions of them, presentation will consist of alternatives. But let's look at traditional vision, mission, and values. Solution. A description about the future and how you want it to be. The mission. Describe the business of your organisation and should contribute to achieving your vision. And then values. It is the way you work, your behaviours, your traits, convictions, and characteristics. Now, this is as a group of people in the staff team, but it's also organisationally. It's holistically how we behave. However, if you're honest, it can sometimes be difficult splitting out vision and mission, which then why I like to add airy to a couple of things. So think about it like being a visionary. So someone who sees what is possible, and then missionary, so who actually just carries out the work. So when you're going through and developing a strategy, when speaking to some stakeholders, it might be easy to think a bit like this. Now, an idea of visions from around the charitable sector, we're going to play a game, and you're still going to play the game with you. Play a vision, you can think about it, about who it belongs to, and you type down your answer if fancy. So we'll start off. Are you ready, David? Turns out it doesn't allow the game to be played. So scope is supposed to pop up. That vision is a world where disabled people have the same opportunities as everyone else. So this is about poverty. So it's a world without poverty. So we have a world with a future in which people and nature thrive. Striking about those three visions, but I would say, is that they're all inspirational and they're all compelling. So everyone has the same opportunities, disabled people have the same opportunities as everyone else. A just world without poverty, hugely aspirational, hugely inspirational, hugely compelling. And we want a world in the future in which people and nature thrive. So really getting to some kind of huge statements right there. Look at the missions. So missions around not-for-profit sector this time. So NHS England, rather, high quality care for all now and for future generations. And delivering, it's almost like this is how we're going to get there. So how are we going to get there from the BBC front to enrich people's lives with programmes and services that inform, educate and entertain. So using Retian values there and putting them directly into the I don't suppose I would have been allowed to have done this webinar without referencing the National Union of Students. And our mission is to promote, defend, extend the rights of students and to strong student unions. Section. To inspire the way the world treats children and to achieve immediate and lasting change in their lives. And that's the children. So the missions that we've just had, that they are describing the how of each to achieve the mission. So it's developing high quality care, some real lives with programs, defending and extending the rights of students, building strong student unions, and inspiring breakthroughs in the way that the world treats children. And there are also links there in the missions to the beneficiaries. And so again, another example of what I think about doing when developing our plans. So now we'll go to values and being value driven. So plans, it might just look like they have accountability, ambition, collaboration, creativity, and integrity. So just the 5 values. But actually, we put this in a little bit more depth because within each of the sections, and also got personal responsibility, with demanding of ourselves, setting high goals, respect, diversity, new years, embracing change, disciplined risks, high standards, personal honesty and behaviour. Now, what the children have been able to do here is almost double the level of values that they have by introducing several layers to their values when they're explaining what they actually mean to them organisationally. And probably notice is that at the end of each value, we have taken it back to reference and focus on the beneficiaries of who they are and what they do. So, we're going to do this, but most of all, children. Everything we do for children, making a difference for children, solutions for and with children, and the interests of children. So that's a really clever way of taking values, doubling on values, but then also thinking back to beneficiaries. And then looking at trust. So again, it might just look like there are 6 sentences that link to values of the organisation. But we go further again on this one. Independent, impartial, honest, always at the heart, pride, equality, money, creativity, respect, diversity, doing their best, and work together. It's almost collaborative. It's actually gone from 6 or so values to actually 12 values. And so, if you are looking to develop your values as a students' union, then actually be really about how you introduce layers around throughout your plan. So across the student movement, you've all got these, you've all got your values, whether they're written down or whether or not they're just cultural things you've developed. I hope this is a good way about helping you think innovatively about how you wish to develop some strategic plan as well. So, I'd like to give you some kind of like context and maybe some inspiration about how you might like to try and look at things slightly differently, or how to set them out slightly differently. Use the traditional vision, mission, and values, but that's entirely up to you, your stakeholders, as whether that's going to be relevant to you. So, this is WWF. Now, seeing their vision with a world with a future in which people and nature thrive. Going down immediately to minimum values, our role with others to safeguard the natural world. Then our approach, we lead the way, connect people to the bigger picture and seek solutions. And then we stand for and how we will fulfill our role. One WWF here is because there are a lot of elements that students' unions could adapt from this layout. Clearly have a really wide range of supporters and people that are engaged within their audience. And so they have identified that not all of the time the traditional vision, mission and values actually works for them. So they've started to adapt their language. Interestingly, in terms of setting out their strategic plan, they've put it down into 8 areas: water abstraction, overfishing, pollution, deforestation, infrastructure, greenhouse emissions, poaching, and agricultural expansion. And so it's there on one page. It's very text heavy, but it's still there on one page. So, HS England is that they've got our mission, our vision, our purpose, our behaviours, and values. Now, it's been created in a room with lots of measures that I couldn't really say, but that wouldn't surprise me with NHS, and so everything is included. Actually, what they've done is WWF, in appreciating that it's got such a vast audience, so it's attempting to connect with as many people as possible, splitting out in terms of absolutely everything it does at each particular stage. And what I like here is that it's the first time that it's the second time we started seeing our. So basically, in WWF we saw our role and our approach, our role. So our mission, our values, our purpose, our behaviours, our values. In language, it's a slight nuance, but actually it starts to speak to people about NHS England in a slightly different manner. Reference them earlier. with our vision, our purpose, and our needs. So vision, out of a world where disabled people have the same opportunities as everyone else. Our purpose is to drive change across society so that disabled people have the same opportunities as everyone else. Links to their vision, and then our needs. We see the person and we set no limit on potential. We independence, inclusion, and freedom to choose. Every day, no more, no less. Together, create a better society. Something to see here from Scope is that the choice of languages that they're using, and they're still set in the heart of vision, mission, and values. Actually, those in a particular language and a particular approach that they is far more accessible to their sector body. We're going to look at the student movement. Some snippets from Exeter Guild, Kenyon, Lincoln Students' Union, Lincoln Union, and Leeds Becker. All this is just to kind of look at setting themselves out at the moment. Exeter Guild. Now, I'm going to go with mission and vision and values to start with. They're straight in there with what we want to achieve. So thinking back to the John Harmon Shark quote, which hasn't been written yet, this is what we want to get to, what we're aiming to Guild, to be experienced. And we represent you, our members. If you're a student, automatic member of the Guild, we provide services and facilities. We make a positive in every student's experience. So, again, you see when they say they've explained their vision and their missions, but in different language, but it's clear and it's very accessible. So now, start by highlighting Ken's vision. Our vision is to be an exceptional organisation that has lasting impact on the world around us. Now, that is inspirational. That is excellent. Nice things about this page. In fact, it's created a one-page summary of their vision, their mission, their values. It's absolutely everything. So, and it's very visually stimulating as well. So that's again a really nice positive that we should be able to share with students, and students be able to look at that. And yes, I know exactly where I'm falling in this. I know what the Students' Union is doing me. Leeds Beckett. So Beckett, again, visually stimulating and engaging. It's vision right at the heart of this, making student lives better. It's got a really sensible and pragmatic approach. It's got 5 priority areas, and each below those have got 5 subheadings. And so any stakeholder should be able to look at this and appreciate where they're becoming, or what indeed the union is going to be campaigning on or wanting to change and or achieve within the next 5 years. So, a look at Lincoln versus Students' Union. Again, start and then they've got their top 5 key priority areas. So I've been a Students' Union where every Lincoln student has a great experience and is encouraged and assisted to fulfil their potential both at university and in life. And it's inspirational as well. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do as a Students' Union and as a charity. And so they've split their areas down into 5, so it's nice and easy for stakeholders, students and other stakeholders alike to be able to be. And Leeds University Union, then they've split theirs down into their 9 areas, and the heart of it again. Together, we'll make sure you love your time at Leeds. Really clear, really concise, really accessible. So, I promise I would look at some alternatives to vision, mission, and value, and I'll explain why. Some recent NUS Insight research over the last 18 months or so been asked, and some of the responses have kind of made me pause and have a think about a few things. So I won't go into the details about which particular student union these were, but the question was, do you want to be a member of the student union? Details the type of institution they are, mission group, how many students they have. And what was the numbers were particularly low. And it'd be interesting that if you were to ask your students on your campus what they thought of themselves or considered themselves as members of the students' union or not, well, that might direct some of the language that you were using and how you were framing yourself as a students' union. But how we frame ourselves as students' unions automatically, and there's nothing wrong with this, but we go to vision, mission, and values. The vision and mission were borrowed by the charity sector from the corporate world, and actually students' unions have really just borrowed them from the world and put them into students' unions. You can use different language because once you continue to use vision and values, then I think that we're likely just to create a strategic plan that speaks to our parent institutions as funders rather than our students as members, and that might create a misconnect in the two. So I quite like the idea of the 4 Ps. So talking about people, purpose, promise, and principles. I'm really clear that we're talking about our people as a students' union, and our purpose at this particular students' union, and our promise to you as a student at this institution, and then principles. Yes. What I've taken the basics of the vision, mission, values, and adapted them in terms of their language, so that we might be able to see if there is a different engagement level that we might be able to have with students. So, I've run this exercise, a few trustee boards, and the data we're going to see over the next few slides when we talked about the 4 Ps as all from their sessions. So, people. It amazes me that if I go onto a students' union's website, please see the elected officers on page 1. Sometimes I see listed, but on page 1. And then you see staff listed. I might, apart from maybe a direct email address, or now we should be able to celebrate the people that make students' unions. Actually hide about the fact that we have elected officers, we do have trustees, we do have staff members, block members or volunteers or partners in the community. In fact, reminding students that this is who everyone is. So this is who goes in, who gives their time to make the students' union what it is. I don't think we should hide away from it. I think we should be talking about our people. Well, it's purpose. Interesting exercise to run at a trustee board level when we have various different stakeholder trustees talking about what they think the purpose of the students' union. Sometimes you might have 12 to 15 people that all have a different idea about what the purpose should be. And that's probably no different to asking the tens of thousands of students on your campus about what they think the purpose of the students' union should be. So that the vision is kind of a purpose. We can use language to make it more understandable and explain who we are far easier. So our purpose is to create a space where all our people can engage and build for the future. This is to develop our students and to be part of something bigger. Have people to enhance all aspects of their student life, to serve, empower and lead. Engage, support, enhance, entertain, rate and give opportunities to support, engage and advise students making their lives better. you want to do and introduce you to things you didn't know you wanted to do. The purpose is to give opportunities for students to discover their potential and develop skills out of comfort zone. All are fantastic purposes for student achievements. Like that, they could all go further. I mentioned that earlier. I think it would be great if everyone could make a promise to students coming to study at the university or college. So almost it's a little contract, if you like. The student is the way to listen. Everything with the best interest of our members and their needs. To ensure extracurricular activities, services and opportunities we offer are accessible and relevant. So it's always current and catering to the growing student population. To shape your own student experience. To be used for your life at university and after. We represent, listen, and be fully committed to you, our people. We support and develop all our students to develop and teach leaders, to build for you, to represent you, to provide ways to try new things, to give you a voice. We will people and work with them to create a positive, engaged, lifelong community. So you develop your own promise through your market research and speaking to stakeholders. You know what your promise should be to your new students. And finally, I've touched on the fact that these are very much based on the idea of the views, and you will be able to adapt these in any way that you see fit. But I've got two slides now that have come from the trustee board and staff sessions that I've run with this exercise. To when they've been mentioned once, twice, 3 times, and 5, etc. And it comes to a students' union developing its values. Social media for people to suggest and tweet in or Facebook in what values they think that you have as an organisation, as a students' union. But I also think a list at the end of this that's been generated, and then you've gone back and you've done what Kenyon have done, or Save the Children have done, or the BBC Trust have done in terms of exploring what they are and what they mean to you as an organisation. And you can put these out to ballot for your online voting structures. Students actually vote in about what values or principles that they think that the student union should. I think that's a really soft way, a really good, positive, soft way of pushing your strategic plan. So, there are lots of 2 examples of principles, and finally go back there and refresh that we're talking about people, purpose, promise, and principles. Finally, you can visit qualitystudentsunions.org.uk, email strategic support s.org.uk. One moment is just to stop recording, and if anyone has any questions, please feel free to type them into the message.